we were talking about all the companies and all the shit that's been going on, right? And you know, those who are fucking gross. And one of those big old gross ones that like was happening as of like hot news live as we were podcasting right now last night into this morning was the fucking Olympics Commission. If you've heard about that, for the longest while there have been like, should we cancel? But money though, and they've been doing the same dance, and it's nonsense. And the Olympics been bullshit for fucking ages. We've all known about or maybe we haven't, but those of you who do know that like there's stories of corruption and absolute garbage and fucking.
Oh yeah, the Olympics is evil, man.
That the Olympics Commission is the most crooked, roving band of fucking assholes that. They show up and they take everything and they ruin your shit and they say, thank me for the privilege, you know? And so we pretty much have been watching them flop and flounder and kind of look for every possible reason to not cancel the Olympics, right? Because you know, the average person who's not heard about this shit is just going, oh yeah, it's the big old sports celebration. That's a good time. Everything's international, yay. But when you do hear about the fucking disgusting behavior that, FIFA as well, same kind of like disgusting shit. When you hear about all of that noise, where they're looking at it now and they're like, well, if we cancel all the money though, but what do? And it's like, hey, do you think maybe that the international competition where people come from every country around the world and stand next to each other and then go back to their respective countries is a bad idea during an easily transmissible pandemic? And they all fuck in the Olympic Village?
Yeah.
Do you think it might be a bad idea?
No.
Wait. Maybe. It depends. I gotta look over at how many zeros are over here. How many zeros was that again? Okay, it might be a bad idea, but there's a lot of zeros right here.
Are there a lot of zeros?
I don't, shit. And then Shinzo Abe in Japan is like, hey, there might be a thing that gets postponed or not. We don't know, frankly, and we're just going to leave it in the air. They'll decide because, of course, who knows? Like maybe it's like if you piss them off now, then the next time around, the Olympic Commission in 12 years is like, no, Japan, we won't go to your fucking country. Who knows? But they're playing this insane game of we don't know what we're gonna do about the situation with the whole thing. And eventually, I think it was yesterday, they tweeted out something that said, because it would not affect the situation in any way, cancellation is not an option. And everyone, of course, went, are you fucking high? And then he clarified and said, no, cancellation is not the same as postponing. And it's like, okay, sure, asshole. The point is, you can't fucking run it. And they're like, oh, well, no statements for now. We'll see. And then they're just playing this insane game, where it's such an obvious move, but the greed is showing itself. And here's the thing. Here's an option, right? You know what you're talking about when you're like, hey, it's obvious that companies are fucking full of shit and they'll bathe in your blood. That's correct. Okay. A lot of people probably don't know that the Olympics is fucking horseshit as well. But
I think everybody knows the Olympics is horseshit.
I mean, but now you get to see it, right? They're like, should we risk the world getting fucking in a worse state so that we can get paid? Maybe. And then, thankfully, last night, while this was going on, Canada's Olympic team just said, hey, it doesn't matter whether you postpone it or not. We're not fucking going. And you're like, thank God. Right?
We're the number one quitters!
Fuck yeah.
Woo!
Gold. We took the gold.
We got gold for quitting.
It's the best. It's the fucking best. Proud to be a quitter. I love it. So Canada's like, yeah, it doesn't matter whether you fucking whatever you decide. Fuck this, we're not going. And then that's the entirety of that. And one can only hope that other countries that feel the same would then be like, yeah, we're out too, fuck that. But it seems that didn't have to happen, because as of today, they've announced they're postponing it to 2021.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Hey, that's good.
So,
Good.
again,
We're saved from the Olympics on television for at least another year.
so you know, again, it's a moment of like, but and you have to fucking smack it and go, hey, and you smack the Olympics and go, hey, and they go, okay, fine, but, and then you go, ah, and then they go, okay, all right, 2021,
And they're like, come on! And you're like, no, bad.
just,
Bad.
you know, it literally takes like everyone screaming and Canada going, go fuck yourselves, for them to go, okay, fine. But we needed the money. Yeah. Here's the thing though, right? And this is where that whole greed thing falls apart for me, right? This is where I don't understand. Because let's pretend that I'm like a fucking money-grubbing scumbag that is willing to risk the world to get paid.
That's correct.
And I want to run my Olympics.
Yeah.
If I were to say, nah, fuck it, we're going to keep it on in a couple months' time from now and just pretend nothing happened, right? And let's say Canada drops out. Let's say eventually America follows suit, and
Australia apparently already backed out before they canceled it. Or
wonderful.
Postponed it.
So like 2 or 3 major countries back out at the minimum, a lot more at most, whatever, right? So you have these compromised Olympics where some countries are missing from the situation, right? You run it anyway. What musical acts are you going to book for the opening ceremony that would agree to show up and A, endanger everyone, and B, completely fucking ruin their careers by associating
Musical
with
acts.
you, right? What people, like you know the opening ceremonies?
Yeah.
They hire a bunch of like musical acts to come in and perform.
Oh, they'll get somebody.
But here's what I'm saying, right?
Green Day will do it. Fuck it.
So like, who's going to fly to Japan to be in the stands to do all this in a situation where everyone is scared, right?
So here's the thing.
You're
thinking about this backwards.
Let me okay. I was talking in an orderly thing, but the point of the bottom line I was trying to get to there is, if I was a stupid greedy man and I ran it anyway, that would make no sense, because people are not going to show up, because the situation is one where they don't feel safe to, and you would probably lose money running the event to scale anyways. Some people would show up, some countries would show up, but a whole lot of people would not, and it would be the most hated story happening every single day in the news, that the Olympics event this ran and that ran, and the entire world will be like, everyone go fuck yourselves for the entire duration of those Olympics. It would be so negative in terms of PR. It would be such a shit show. And then financially, no one's going out to fucking watch these events. It would make no sense to do it anyway. So even if you were greedy, the situation is spoiled by the moment, by the fucking pandemic. The fear is already there.
All right. Well, okay. So I can break it down for you, because I feel like my global cynicism is bearing some serious fruit. Okay. One, you expect too much intelligence out of those who are just purely greedy. Okay, just you expect too much from them. Two, the money grubbing for the Olympics, the politicians that are like, the Olympics, so we got to do the Olympics. They don't get cash when people show up. They gave their friends contracts for providing or managing or building the Olympics. That money's done. It's already it's essentially already spent. So the only thing that can happen is for no one to show up, and then the people who maybe got some favors done to get those contracts earn nothing, or Some people show up because they're morons, and they do get something. Like those deals are done. Those bribes were paid off already.
Sure, but at a certain point, there's the cost of just running the live event. At a certain point, there's just like the idea that this like going forward with it. Well, they've postponed now, right? But the possibility that they weren't going to do so, it would have been so crippled and nonsense in the wake of like how many people would not want to show up.
Well, see, here's the lucky thing
that
is that the Olympics are hosted by local governments. That's all just tax money.
Yeah. I guess all I'm saying is that it feels like it's not a choice. It feels like they don't have a choice. They're hemming and hawing over whether or not to delay, or they were, but you don't get to choose that, not because it's the right or wrong thing to do, but because if you're doing it in the middle of a time when people are scared to be in crowds, you can't expect this to like do anywhere near as well as you need it to, you know? And there will be totally people there. I'm not saying no one's going to show up. A bunch of idiots are going to go. But I'm just saying, compared to how much it would have been under normal circumstances, it's a fucking ridiculously low percentage, you know? Yeah.
So like everybody, it's this weird thing where there are a lot of people that are like, oh, we're going to have to cancel whatever. Right. And someone goes, okay, so we're going to cancel it. Right. And then someone yells out, no, don't cancel it. Maybe it won't be as bad later and we won't have to cancel it. If it starts getting better tomorrow. And they do that every day until somebody just snaps and says, dude, we got to cancel it. So the one thing that I think of when we're talking about the Olympics, let's talk about something that is more near and dear to our hearts and those of our viewers, is Evo. Evo is still technically on for end of July, right?
Yeah, we haven't heard any announcements. We don't know what's going on right now. I mean, it's safe to assume it is not. But there has been no statements.
The last thing that was said was, I think, by Canon a couple weeks ago, last week or the week before. It was like, currently no plans to cancel Evo. We're going to wait and see. And now Vegas is dark.
Yeah.
There's no lights.
No.
And you're not allowed to go into hotels.
No, the hotels are closed. The hotels are closed.
And it's like, yeah, I don't think Evo's going to happen.
It might not even be their choice.
Even though it's obvious Evo's not going to happen, they still haven't canceled it because someone is going, well, maybe it'll turn around.
Yeah.
So let's wait a second to cancel it.
Yeah.
It's like, come on.
Now, Ultra David had a really good stream talking about just like, you know, the nature of how this is going to affect the FGC from now on. And there is in fact going to be a whatchamacallit, a huge change to the FGC from now on, because some events won't be able to recover from this. By the way, Pat, we have about 5 minutes left, so
yeah, I know.
Good. Just so that
I'm aware.
Motherfuckers don't start dancing in their bridges.
Shout outs to all your favorite Melee players. They will assuredly not deal with the current event well. Let's all wish them a speedy recovery.
Mm-hmm.